Morning Discord, morning YouTube. Let's get into it. All right, we're gonna let these early candles play out. Powell speaks tomorrow, and maybe the market might just compress for today to wait to hear what Powell says before any moves happen. So I think we want to be cautious of that. We're at the 20 right now. You see what the setups are for what the long term looks like for today. So we're gonna look for continuation to the upside. You see where the safety is in our pink, the safety, quote unquote safety. So if we get underneath this pink, let's look for pink to form some type of resistance. Or let's just get the party started early. So we see the head and shoulders here, and we're looking at, okay, here we go. Let's look at the higher time frame. So we're gonna look for a weak bull cycle on our 5-minute, and we're gonna look for continuation of the bull cycle on the 30-minute. So you see the range, I have it highlighted. It's not exactly the same range, but a similar range on the 1-minute. So let's see, we got some more room for the down. Let's see if we're rejecting off of the 20 to finish off either the shoulder, or if we're gonna break above purple. So let's just be patient. We'll know which one's gonna happen. Tricky candles here. These are tricky candles. Just wait till all the volatility settles out. Tricky candles here. Now we want to break, retest, reject off of the 20, but in a strong movement, not just a few candles. So be patient with it. Because we also want to watch out to see if they're going to grab liquidity off the 20. Right, so I think this purple is going to tell us a lot. If this purple's a thing, we have to verify the purple still, but it should tell us what's going on. This purple algo. All right, we see we have some. We're gonna have liquidity up here, right here, and we already bounced off this liquidity here. So for right now, your safety calls are going to be above 637.48. So look for 637.48. Look for it to be some type of support. I'm gonna clean up the bigger chart just because it's, everyone sees it, right? You see the two, what we're looking out for, either the head, shoulder, continuation, or if we continue upward, right? To see if we formed a cup handle up, right? That's the structure within the structure. So everyone sees what's here. I'm gonna clean this up just because it's a little distracting. And then by the end of the day, I'll come back and gloat about how right I was. Let's give these early candles a little some time. You see on the 30, look on the 30 where all the liquidity is, right here. So we're in the middle of this liquidity right here. So we gotta wait until they figure out which way it's gonna go. That's the answer. So usually elevated contract prices usually mean volatility. Volatility meaning a down day, but okay, was that what you were trying to point out? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's see what happens outside of this movement, this purple movement here. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Struggling at the 20 here. Struggling at the 20. That's fine. That's why we wait. We'll wait for the deep structure off the 20, a break, deep structure. We want to preserve our wins. We want to preserve our wins and make sure that we're taking trades that we have high confidence in, or, something to go off of. We don't have any structure. We don't have anything yet, right? Certain things need to happen before we can even have an opinion about anything. We're still at opening candle, inside opening candle, right? So we've missed nothing. And look at this MACD price. I've actually never seen it look like this, but yeah, we're the 20 and the 5 right here, the heavy hitters. So we're gonna see which way they're gonna go, right? Calls somewhere above here, puts on the if this is support, calls. If this is resistance, puts. We got to break this liquidity right here, all this liquidity. And this is why most traders don't like to trade before 15 minutes. Because this is usually, like, you know, what's common. That's why we wait for the data. No reason to go in, to rush in on anything. Look at your 30 minute. Your 30 minutes going to tell you. Right? We're going to see momentum going one way. So we're just going to wait for our setup. On a micro scale, let's hold on, what is that? On a micro scale, we're just looking for a rejection off of the 20. So it might chop between key level 35.21 and the 20. So we're just in this. Yeah, we got to break this range. This range right here. So there's a mini little range in here. You see it between the 20 and pink. Is it? Even though I know we shouldn't have a bias, I'm not gonna rule. I don't have a bias, but I'm not gonna rule out chop because, like I said, Powell's speaking tomorrow, and yeah, the market just may want to wait to see what he has to say. Burn out contracts today. See what Powell's gonna say. Not every day is a trading day. Today might not be that day, and it's important that we identify when it's not a trading day. Especially in this tight range, we have no setup, no structure. So if we break blue, that'll be indication. If we do this, break underneath pink, look for that. But this chop in between pink and 20, let this figure out what it wants to do. We got no business in here. So at these times right here, we shouldn't be trigger happy, just waiting for a certain thing. And the reason for that is because we have no structure to go off of to even wait for. There's nothing to go off of to wait for. So what you see, what I have drawn now is irrelevant. Okay, now you got to measure risk to reward off break of blue to the pink, because we see there's a lot of liquidity on pink. Okay, that's a nice candle though. That's a nice candle though. Pretty nice candle. Okay. Pretty nice candle. Okay. Okay. Wait, why was the candle evil? That's not a, is it an evil candle? Really? Why is this one evil? It looks pretty nice. Okay. There we go. That's what we wanted. Something like that. That's what we wanted. That's why we wait for the break and retest, right? That's what we wanted, right? A break, retest. Because we want to, the reason why we want to wait for the break and retest, because we're looking for the fake out. We're trying to avoid fake out. So in order to avoid fake out, you know, we may lose on this initial drop. And that's the risk we take by waiting for the fake out. I mean, by waiting for the break and retest. Okay, now I see why you're saying that was an evil candle, because it... Hold on, it's not over yet. The movement's not over yet. Okay. Let's see if this green is even a thing. If this is tough. If you're guiding off the 5 minute, you probably could have made something on the break of this purple, or even on the break of the key level, but you'd have to be quick on it, and it's still, oh, right here, yeah, it would have been tough. That would have been tough to get anything like that. So let's look to see if we have this, and we'll look to see if we break out right here. I'm just going to clean up the chart just a little bit. Everyone sees what I have on here, so I just want to clean this up. You got to measure risk to reward on this, right? Because you know the 20 is right here. So you got to measure your risk to reward here. All right, 5 minutes telling us we might be entering another bull cycle, but it might be a shallow bull cycle, right? Because we're below the water. So this is kind of inconclusive data. The 30-minute says we'll gotta see how this closes. We might have a strong hammer candle. Right? This looks like a really strong hammer candle. And our 1 minute tells us we're above the water. Maybe starting another bull cycle again. So, but if we cross below, then we know, or we'll have an idea. That's why I have this green here. We're gonna see if the green's guiding us right now. We're trying to figure out, are we in green or are we gonna get back in the blue? That's what we're trying to figure out here. So we're in between, right? Remember that 50-50 I had? I believe this is the 50-50. This is the 50-50. Remember I had it early this morning? We're still in the 50-50, so either we're going to continue in green or we're going to get back up. We got to get back above this 20 because it's too much liquidity here to even, I mean, you could, yeah, you know, it all depends on your risk tolerance. I like this candle pattern right here. I like this pattern for continuation. So we'll see. Don't need to rush anything. I got the 20 right here. I don't care to be right. I mean, I don't care to be pretty. I care to be right. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Yeah, they're playing games. They're playing games. This shaky business around the 20. This is sketchy business around the 20. Now let's see here. Because it needs to be like a strong momentum candle straight through the 20 for me to want to jump on. I mean, it looks juicy. All right, I'll just let it play. I'll let it play. You know what? I'm just going to stick to my rules. Above the 20. Break, retest, reject of the 20 for calls. Other than that, I might be seeing a fade here. Maybe we're seeing some fading. So we'll know at this green. We're still inside market candle open, right? The opening candle, we're still inside of that candle. So we've done everything right by waiting for our structure, waiting for our setup. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. as green is putting in work right now, so we'll see what green has to say. But this break of green, like I said, you know, the liquidity is right here. So, but at least it'll help us confirm, right? Green will help us confirm. Yeah, green put in work. All right, good job, green. Good job, green. Okay, you see this little wedge building between pink and green now? This little tiny, it may be in my head, but possibly a little wedge forming, so we'll see. I believe the movement to be green though. I think green is controlling everything. I'm gonna clean up the chart. Okay, it's a good thing we waited for this green, right? I think this green's gonna be putting in work for us today. All right. We're still at market opening candle. We're still inside market opening candle. So we're doing everything right. Just be patient. And don't forget, we may just chop all day today. Remember on Monday, I think sometime this week, we just went sideways within a 1 point range all day. Literally 6 hour, or you know, the whole session within a 1 point range. And so, you know, we need to identify when we're in a range, and that's what we're doing right now. Because if you knew ahead of time that the market was going to be in a 1 point range and there's no real structure, I mean, there was some setups there we could have took. We did, you know, we had some wins, but if you knew ahead of time that you're in a 1 point range, you could tell yourself, you know what, that's not enough reward for me. The risk is not worth the reward. I made money yesterday. There's no reason to trade today. That's where you need to be at. If you really want to preserve your account, if you really want to make this a thing to where you're not losing money and it's an actual business, you have to identify your business risks as well. Right? Because let's say you own a car dealership, you're not going to sell someone a car if they don't have the proper credit, right? So what I'm saying is, if you know that you're in a 1 point range, then maybe that's not enough for you to make that. You know what I'm saying? There has to be certain criteria. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what happens when we break blue. Let's see what happens when we break this blue. Yeah, this pink is heavy liquidity on this pink. And this green is holding liquidity as well. And if we can't expect huge moves every single day. I want to make that abundantly clear. If we get a 30-cent move, that's a good move, right? 30 cents is a good move. So we need to keep our expectations realistic. The last 2 days, we've had really good movement. This is not good movement, right? If you rewind the tape from yesterday, I was saying I like this price action. This price action here, not so much. It looks like a grindy, annoying day, but okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see what it's got for us. I'm going to clean up the chart. If you're waiting for a break and retest, that's what you should be doing. We got to close below this blue. We need to close. We need a closing candle. Yeah, this is ugly price action. We're still in market open. We're still in this, right? We're still in that. Measure your risk to reward. We're hoping it just shoots up and then gives us another opportunity on the retest. I mean, it's kind of a... All right, my trade's protected. So whatever happens from here, I don't care. I saw this. I got in somewhere here. I'm going to move my stop to the green. I'm going to actually take a little bit of profit just in case. So if it goes against me, oh well. I'm going to take a little more profit because it's at profit target. Taking a little more profit. Now I'm going to let this run. I'm just going to leave my stop. Probably underneath this candle. Trade protected. I'm going to move my stop to right underneath the 20. Right underneath the 20. Just in case it's just a liquidity grab off the 20 just to shoot back down, I'm protected. Hopefully it rejects right here and continues up. Hopefully that was the retest. That's what I'm hoping for. The retest was there. Hopefully. This separation between green and 20 was enough for me to want to take the risk there, because up here it was not enough risk to reward. Once we got down here, I was like, you know what? Okay, I can collect something. All right. So I'm going to leave my stop on the 20 for a little bit. I'm going to let this play out just a tad. Now where I see we're in the trading on the top half of blue. So I want to make this some type of support now. So I have my stop. I'm still at the 20. I haven't moved it yet. I might move it a little bit above. Yeah, I'll move it right above. I'll move it at the 20. I'll do my stop to the 20. So let's say you got faked out on blue, and what do you call it? If you got faked out on blue with this wick because you were impatient and didn't wait for the close, then you know what the next setup was, right? It was when it gets above green. So even if you were to take this candle. Your stop couldn't have been, you would have been in profit now had you turned around and bought the call when you were supposed to on the break of green. You'd be in profit now, so that this loss wouldn't have mattered. So you can't be wrong twice in a row, and that's what I'm talking about. Can't be wrong twice in a row. I'm gonna move my stop a little bit. I don't know if I want to go along blue or along the 20. I might use the 20 for a little bit. I don't think it's established itself inside of this blue yet. So I'm gonna keep my stop along the 20. I'll wait for this candle to close 20 seconds before I start trailing off of blue. I'll wait for this candle to close before I start using blue as I'm gonna wait to see how this candle finishes. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll stay underneath, a little bit underneath this wick here. Maybe I should stick to the 20. I want to wait for target, but all right, I'll just stick with blue. And if I get stopped, I get stopped. No big deal. I can always get back. It should be the 20. I'll hold on to the 20. From probably here, 35 to, so 1 point. So I'll wait for blue to close below blue or the 20, either one. Well, I'll probably just leave it at the 20. That's what I'll do. I'll see if I can survive this. Okay. A little bit more to the target would be nice. Little strong push to the target right here so I can comfortably move my stop because I'm not comfortable yet. I'll leave it at the 20. I'm going to leave it at the 20. I secured profit and I'm going to try to ride this out. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. If this gives me a strong close higher, then I might start using the blue. Seeing a lot of wicks. I'll probably start guiding off of blue now, collect a little bit more. Yeah, so I'll use blue. That's enough distance for me. I'll wait for the close of blue. If we close outside of blue, then I'm out. Trade's protected, can't lose from here. I'm gonna leave half the contracts underneath this wick right here, and I'm gonna trail the other half because I have to leave today early. So I'm gonna trail my other half, not early, but I can't. Yeah, I got a time frame here. I'm gonna trail the other half along blue. we get the target, I'll probably take some off. I'd be interested to move my stop to if we make this purple support. If I can make this support, then I move all the contracts to this purple. I'll take some contracts off when we close below blue. I'm probably not gonna wait. All right, I'll take some off. I'm gonna take some off. Hold on. I'm trying to be a little bit patient. I just want to secure as much as I can on this first tranche. So I want to see if we form support here on purple. Yeah, that's why I wanted to wait to see if we make this purple support, because I'd love to move all the contracts up to this level here. I want to move all the contracts to right here, so I'm gonna wait for this candle to close now. I see we're still inside blue. Okay. Okay. I wanna at least hit the target. That'll be nice, right? You see the. Where, okay, I'm gonna move all my stops to purple now. And whatever happens from here, I am all right. I'm moving. All the stops are here. I'm gonna put half. I'm gonna follow half of them along blue. Right, we're trading in the top half of blue now. Good money today. Okay, we're at target. I'm not going to take any off yet. I'll, even though I did hit target, I'll see if we can. I'm just going to trail along blue now. So, I moved all the contracts to underneath this wick, and I'm trailing half of them along blue. And I probably should have took some off at the profit target, but we'll see. We'll see. I might try to, yeah, I'll take some off and ride the other ones out on a, hopefully get a weak bear cycle. That's what I'll do if we get to the target again. All right, good job, good job. Good job. I'm still trailing along blue. I'm waiting for blue to break, just in case you haven't noticed. I told you once if we get above here, I'm gonna move my contracts up to here. You see how we go off the if we just follow the rules, if we just follow the simple rules that I put in place, this is how we maximize the profit. I'll take some off. I'll take some off and then I'll leave the other half underneath here. So let me wait for this to close. I'm gonna wait for this to close. Remember, I'm waiting for the close outside of blue. So if it just spikes down, then it's all gonna stop me out somewhere down here. Otherwise, I'm trying to monitor this. That's why I'm not really responding to you guys in the chat, because it's hard to go back and forth. Because I'm trying to be cheap right now, cheapskate. There we go. I wanted to get back to the target. I want to close at the target at least. I want to get all this. I want to get all this right here. This is why we have the rules, right? If you try to go outside the rules, you can't maximize the profit. I've designed this system to minimize risk and maximize profit. This is why I have this design. If you just follow these rules, I mean, sure, you're not, okay, hold on. You're not going to win every single trade. That's impossible. But we know how to win okay, here we go. We know how to win at the end of the day, and that's what's more important. Winning the war, not the battle. I'm going to go ahead and break down this trade right here. Here we go. Here we go. Let me break down this trade. Early this morning, I had a 50-50 setup right here. Everyone remembers that 50-50. I told you we're in this range. And I told you that our green, heavy liquidity is on the green. So because this liquidity was here, we knew once we broke the green, we had some strength. And I felt confident with it because I had a little bit of gap now, right? This is enough risk to reward for me. If you don't know, from green to 20, that's plenty of money. Right? That's a good trade. That's a good, at least a scalp, whatever it is. You know, we're able to take it all the way up here. I want this to close above. Okay, here we go. See? This is how you maximize your profit. You survive the red candles. The reason why I put my initial stops underneath, so I made my profit here, right? So I knew if this liquidity on the 20 is going to break, then that means it's a stop hunt. But if they didn't have enough to break back through the 20, then I knew I was safe. I just knew I needed a little more time for them to settle out all the orders, and then we're going to get the momentum. And here comes the momentum coming in. I'm trailing along blue. Hopefully the next target's pink. This is textbook day. This is the move we wanted. Now look. You see, the other opportunity was once it broke above. So if you're waiting for the break and retest, nothing wrong with that. So I can go ahead and clean that one up. Now I got to get back over here. I'll take some profits off if we get below blue again. Yeah, I'll just leave it at blue. I'm hoping for a weak bear cycle now. I'm going to leave it at blue. I'm just going to leave it at blue. My first set, and then my other set I'll leave over on this wick for a little bit. And the reason why I'm leaving it for this wick is because I'm hoping for a weak bear cycle so I can get another push up to the pink. So first set of contracts, break a blue. I'm waiting for that. Whenever that happens, whatever it looks like, I don't care. I'm waiting for that. And then the other set, I'm gonna allow a little more room. All the trades are protected, right? I got in on a little bit in front of this green because I saw this candle here. So somewhere in between here I got filled. So I'm safe, protected, can't lose from here. You see, when we have rules, when you have a very easy, simple rules-based system, even if you wanted to get in on this break of, because remember I said, if I think I talked through this, if we reject off this purple right here, that could be our break and retest, which it was. So for the short term, give me 1 second. Okay, this was a really good trade. This was a textbook, right? This is what we train for all the time. The same exact thing that happened. The only impediment here was a little, maybe we may have had a little hesitation at the 20, but you know, we measured the risk to reward. We knew where the target was at minimum, right? So when we broke this, we knew where the target was at minimum. It was going to be the 20 MA. Once we started getting into the top half of the channel, then you have an idea of where the momentum's headed, at least for the short term. So all my contracts are still intact because remember, half of mine are down here and the other half are trailing along blue. So they're all still intact. They're all still making money. You see, once we got this high above the water, I knew now I had the option to hold for a weak bear cycle. I know I now have the option to hold for a weak bear cycle. If we started to get weakness way down here, you know, I'll be a little sketchy. But look how high the MACD got. It got very high. Now I can hold for a weak bear cycle. I'm getting every single dime out of this market right now, right? We identified chop. We knew where the structure was. We had our inverse head and shoulder. We knew our entry point was on the break of green. Profit target 1 was purple. Profit target 2 was, we're on it right now. Profit target 3 is going to be pink. So I see maybe we're making a new higher low here. So I'm probably going to, for a scalp purposes, I'm going to move all my contracts to underneath this higher low. All the contracts are going to the underneath higher low, and then I'm going to trail some of them along, what is this? I'm going to trail some of them along blue. I'm telling everyone, everyone knows what I'm doing now, right? They're seeing how I trade. Look at us, still printing money. Still printing money. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better entry on this green. We couldn't ask for a better entry. It's all working out pretty well. I'm still gonna I move all the contracts here again. I still have my other half trailing along this blue. This blue ended up, so the green and the blue, that's all we needed today. Maybe this purple too. I think this purple helped because I needed to see this rejection here to hold on. I needed to see this right here off the purple to hold on. So this purple helped. Everything we generated today was a lot of help. And it was easy, quick and easy trade. You see why we don't need to, if you're getting out of your trades too early, listen to my thought process. Listen to what I'm saying. The reason why I'm saying the things that I'm saying is because I'm understanding where the liquidity is. And I'm using all of my tools to my advantage. I knew I had the option to hold on because look how high above the water. I'm hoping for a weak bear cycle. Because we all know a weak bear cycle is a bolt, right? It's going to be continuation. So if this crosses again, that may be your other opportunity to, all right, we want to form another green. And then when it breaks the green, that'll be your opportunity to get back in. Maybe that'll be at key level, which would be ideal, right? All right, let's see if I stop out here, take out some of the contracts. Remember, my other half is here, so I'm fully out if we close below. I'll let it close. But I'll be fully out if we cross this dotted line. Okay, I'm out. That was a good trade. I'll take it. Bruh, if you go up right here, if you don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do you better not do it. Oh, look at, see? It better not go green here. If it goes green right here, yeah. That's going to be a little upsetting. That's okay. What did we do? We did from 35.69 to 37. That's 2 points. That's almost 2 points. So I'm not going to be mad about that. That's a good payday for me. I hit my my target that I wanted. Look what they do. We can never, right? We're always going to say, "Oh, I should have done this. I should have waited for purple," right? That's what I was saying, waiting for purple. They did just enough, right? I'm telling you, they know where you have your stops. I'm 100% sure they know, because I had it underneath the last low. I even took a little bit more loss than I had to. I was moving it, and it stopped me out on the wick, and then it continued. Look at, you can't. There. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, I'm just gonna move on from that. We have a little liquidity level built up here. This is so unfortunate. Look at just enough. It was literally just this wick. They did whatever it took to stop me out. They made sure they did, because that's exactly what happened. Okay. I got a little too. That's fine. That's fine. All right, let's see if we form another green here. Still too early, so we'll let this play. This is still too early to call this a green. This green has not formed. I'm just putting it here, so ignore it. This is kind of thin structure for a continuation. For me personally, it's thin structure because I'm seeing risk to reward on two pink, and this is thin structure. Even if it does go bull cycle here, you know, risk to reward, you got to measure that. We just had a big move here. We just had a big full 2-point move here. So if we get above pink, look for the 5 at some point. Look what they did to me. Okay, I might get back in. Scalp to pink. We'll see. Even though this is thin structure here. This is thin, but if it's there, it's there. I tried to scalp this. If it goes back inside green, I'll take a little loss here. If we go back inside green, I'm going to take a loss. Small loss. 10 bucks. Okay. So that's fine. I'll try it again. If it presents itself again, I'll try it again, but didn't work that time. It's all right. A little risky. Shouldn't have done it. I knew it was thin structure. I knew it was thin. I was just hoping for maybe a little pop. Just to touch it. I knew what I was doing. I knew that was a scalp. That's fine. All right, let's let this liquidity clear out. So if it wants to head down, look for underneath the 20 for your safety. But then you see the other liquidity right here. Clean up the chart just a bit. Okay. So now we got to watch out for, because we know where all the liquidity is, right? On the 20, which is probably going to line up at this point on this purple. So we want to look out for a continuation pattern. If that happens, to retest the 20, wherever the 20 may be. To retest the 20. Or we want to look for the weakness coming in underneath the 20. So between here and here, you're in the middle of the water. There's no trade here. You got to wait for the setup. The 20 is controlling everything. Either we're going to bounce off of it. I mean, that's the setup we're looking for, right? A bounce off the 20 or a break, retest, reject of the 20. You see the liquidity we're in. So Ron, I just want to point out, because I know you're a big, I know you talk about profit targets a lot. I just want to point out to you why I don't hyper focus on profit targets, why I use more of the algos to go off of, because it could, you know, could I have held all this time and hopefully rejects off the 20 and goes back up to pink? Sure, I could have done that, but let me secure some money. I'm going to secure money at least. So I decided to go off blue. You know, if I need to re-enter, then I can, but I want to maximize the profit that I can if I have the opportunity, because the market's not going to give you the opportunity all the time. You got to take it. So on a micro level, right, we want to see if we have a little shoulder here, maybe a little head forming here, and then the shoulder to break back out of the green. This will be maybe sufficient liquidity to get us to the pink at that point. right? So the deeper we pull back and form deeper structure, the more likelihood we have for our movement. So remember, these are the two, this is what we're looking out for. It's gonna do this, maybe along the 20, and then back above the green, right? That's one setup. Everyone remember that? Or we're looking to see if we form this, and then this. So we need this to be resistance. I'm gonna clean up the chart just a bit. We know what we're looking for now. Let's take a look at higher time frame. Okay. Let's see what the story tells us. Here. Man, this went perfectly to key level on the 5 minute. Perfectly to the 5 minute key level. Let's look at our 30 minute. Whoops. Okay, just be patient now. Middle of the water, nothing to do. You wait for one of the structures to play out. Either you're going to go below the 20 or it's going to reject off the 20. Either one of those things is going to happen. Remember all the liquidity at the 20, right? So I know this is looking juicy. But your best bet is to wait for that. If it breaks through the blue, which is our trigger for the puts, I mean, that's a risk you got to take. I mean, not got to, I'm just saying you have to figure out your own risk. I'm not saying you have to take that risk. You need to figure out if break of blue is good enough or if you want it for the break and retest, because that's lining up exactly with purple. You need to figure that out for yourself. I don't know. This is the moment right here where you need to. You don't have to take a trade. You can, maybe paper trade it or test your logic to see, what your risk tolerance is. What's the risk here? Because okay. So if you took break of blue, you got to measure your risk to reward. Okay. Break, retest. Let's see if we retest it. That's what I'm saying. You got to figure out what type of trader you are. Are you going to go on the break and hold for dear life, or do you want to wait for the retest, right? If you wait for the retest, what you're risking is that it takes liquidity and just dumps right here. That's what you're risking. So this is where you need to, this moment right here is where you need to figure out what type of trader you are. And then you'll start to look for the patterns, like, what should I have done there? So don't take this trade if you're not comfortable, right? But understand, what should you have done? What should you have waited for? What are you more comfortable with? What was the best risk assessment? Oops, sorry. I just punched the damn microphone. Can you all hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay. Hell yeah. Okay, everyone can hear me, right? Ron, I think you... Okay, yeah, you can. Is it quiet or something? Is it like a lot quieter? Because I just punched the mic and it says the volume's all the way on 0. Is it quiet? Okay, let me see. Is that better? Can you guys hear me better now? Let me see. Is that better? All right, cool. Back in business. All the liquidity built up right here, right? We already knew liquidity is built up here. So pay attention to what's happening right now and understand your risk tolerance. So when the moment presents itself again, look, I'm breaking an algo. However, I'm at the 20. Does this mean great liquidity for the down and I just needed a hold? Or does this mean there's a high level of liquidity and it's too much indecision here? You need to start assessing the patterns. These are the moments where you build your trading style, because you have to take from your experience and learn. This is where you're learning. What happens at, we see liquidity built up on blue. However, we're also at the 20. Which one is more powerful? That's what you need to ask yourself. I will be right back. And also, if we should be 100% on the day, right? Because there's only actually one trade. So if you're in profit, there's no reason to sit here and trade all day, right? You got to learn how to take your wins and move on. If you're sitting here still trying to trade, you had your setup, you had your win. Anything else? Are you being greedy at this point? So if you feel comfortable with the break and retest, I get it. I know why. Right? We always like the break, retest, and reject. That's the safety for us. What you're risking is that it breaks and just shoots completely down. However, this does look Maybe we're setting up for a deeper structure on this green. So let's be patient because we know we're at the 20. Liquidity is right here. Just be patient. It'll show us which way they're going. It'll be obvious. Because you know what to look for. Exactly. It could go either way, right? That's always the stock market. However, we know what to look for if it's gonna, where the momentum's going. We know where the liquidity grab has been taken, right? So if they're gonna grab this liquidity, they're gonna give us a little dance over here. If they're gonna grab the liquidity off the 20, they're gonna give us a dance right here. So we'll know. It'll be obvious. We don't have to try to guess. We just gotta wait for that setup to happen because one of those is gonna happen. You know, if the pattern plays out, you know, this might be somewhere over here. Right, it might look something like this. It'll be obvious. It'll show us. You don't even need to think about it. Don't sit here looking at the candles hoping for a direction. That's not what we're doing here. We are allowing the price action to show us where the setup is. We don't know where it is because look at all this liquidity, right? It's trying to figure it out. Now, did this form a head to grab the liquidity from here? We're going to find out. Or did this rejection candle right here, was that enough to push it down? Right? Because we're in the liquidity wedge. So now we got to find out which way it's going to go. You don't have to think too hard. You don't have to think too hard. We're just going to wait for the wave to form and then we're going to jump on the wave. I'll be right back. Do not overtrade this. Let's look at the higher time frame. Yeah, so this is what we're looking out for. So we're at a 50-50 right here. And this area is going to be a 50-50. This is chop, right? We're at the 20. You're identifying chop. Wait for the chop to clear, to settle. It'll be clear. It'll be obvious. Right? Because you know what the pattern you're looking for. It's either going to be this or this. I'll be right back. All right, what are we just still chopping sideways? That's fine. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. We don't have to sit here and think. We already know what our setup is. All right, now the liquidity's up here, so be careful, right? Wait for, if you want, I don't know your risk tolerance, but wait for this pattern to play out. We're in between the two liquidity bands. There's one here, and there's one here. So if we get below this, right, And you know what to expect. You see liquidity bands? Boom, boom. Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Okay, cool. So do we see the two liquidity bands we're contending with? And what needs to happen to take out each one? Really low volume, really low volume. And if you look at the range we have highlighted, 637.96 and 635.01, or I believe 01 or 02 maybe. We're still inside this range, so let's see, let's see. This is just chop, don't get caught in it. If you're not already in your trade, then there's no trade here, right? This is just chop. But break a green, you could have made something on break a green. How much? I can't just determine that. It's risky because you know you're up against this liquidity band here now. So you need to break above this liquidity band to let you know you got some strength to go up. Okay, trade protected. Trade is protected. Can't lose from here. All right, if you took the break of green, even if you got filled on the worst possible fill all the way up here, your trade's protected. You can't lose from here. This trade is in profit no matter what. So if you decide to take profit now, that's fine. If not, that's also fine. But you have to decide your risk tolerance. I identified the break of whatever, right? It was a break of green. I identified it. I showed you where liquidity needed to break. That happened. Now it's in profit. Nothing more I can do. I told you exactly what was going to happen and what to expect. Now, if you're waiting for this for more confirmation, then wait for it. But in the Discord, we know the break of green was our up scenario. All right, we hit profit target here from green to 637.84. So if you didn't take profit on profit target, there's nothing I can do, right? I told you when to get in. I drew it. There's absolutely nothing more I can do. Oh my goodness. Look at the money we printed. We just have to stick to our rules. This is a good move. If you're looking down on this move from green from 636.81 to 637.44, if you're looking down on this like, oh, that's not enough money, you're in the wrong game. You don't know how this works. Right? That's money we made in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. 7 minutes. So however much you put on the table, you definitely reap some benefit from that, right? So we are 100% on our green and technically blue as well, but I won't count blue for right now. I might. We'll see. Do you see when you follow the rules how it's very hard to lose? It's very hard to lose for the day. But could it not have been inverse? But could it not have been an inverse head and shoulders? Yeah, I drew the inverse head and shoulders, right? Watch. I drew it. Hold on, let me clear it. Yeah, I'm sorry. This chart is a little... I need to be aware of that, sorry. So the inverse head and shoulders is right here. So if you're waiting for this, that's your best bet. We hit the profit target from green to profit target, right? Break a green, we're gonna get something out of it. We knew that. So this play is over. We're thinking of ideally it would have done something like this. That would have been ideal for the push up. But we got what we could, right? From green to profit target, and I'm out. I got out here. Because I knew where the liquidity is, right? Here's your next liquidity band. It was right here. I had it in a square like that. So once we hit profit target, I took my scalp. Quick and easy. Correct. 50-50. I think I put the 50-50. Yeah, I put the 50-50 right here on the 5. 50-50 is on the 5. If you're waiting for a long entry, you know, let's see if we break this key level here, because that seems to be a lot of resistance right here. Otherwise, this green to key level, that move is done, right? You can't overstay your welcome, especially not so close to the 20. All right. I took full advantage. I even got filled late. I got filled late. So when it went back into green, I was like, oh boy. But I knew where my stop needed to be. I put my stop at the low. And you know, it broke green, so I had confidence that we had enough liquidity to at least get to profit target, which we did. So Good trade there. Now, if we get a weak bear cycle, let's see if we bounce off the 20 again to. So now you see we're stuck. Okay, before we were stuck between key level and 20, and now we're stuck between key level and 20. So if we start making lower lows underneath the 20, that should give you some direction. If we start making higher lows, then that'll tell us some direction. And then we just need to look for our setup to confirm the direction. Oh, wait. So the move here was the bounce off the 20 back to test key level. Our entry was on the break of this green. It was a little late, but no, it's fine because you needed some type of confirmation. I think green to key level was a good move. Quick scalp. Now on a bigger scale, do we see, are we getting lower highs? So we want to look for lower high, stuff like that. Okay, why are you doing this? Okay, here we go. So you see your support and resistance, right? The 20 is going to be your support. Your resistance is going to be 637.84 or 48, excuse me. You see, remember when I told you we're in between two liquidity levels, there and there? We're in between two, so you got to take what you can. If we start making liquidity here, then you have a direction. If we start making liquidity here, then you have a direction. Still above this green. I know that's a lot of yellow right now. That's plenty of yellow. I'll change it. Too much yellow. There we go. We'll try orange. So you see inside of here is going to be tricky to trade in, right? You see this. It's going to be tricky to trade in. We're identifying risk right now. You have to measure your risk to reward. We're identifying it right now as we speak. Meaning, if you want to go long here, you know where the first level you're going to meet resistance at, right? That you got to overcome. If you want to go short here, you know where you got to meet some opposition here as well. So the 20 is going to be our key here. All right, we had some confluence on this. We had the break of blue. We had break of blue was the only thing really what we had right here. It looks like we're breaking the whatever this support, random ass support that I put, which probably is not accurate, but I think it worked for this little bit of movement here. If you want to wait for the break, retest, and reject, that's always a good idea because you know liquidity is right here. Meaning if you want to wait for this, there's nothing wrong with that because that means that you're building your liquidity here. I'm going to clean this chart up a bit. It's a lot going on. It's hard to see. I think I want to put this one back here. Okay, break a blue, break the 20. We broke this range. If you're waiting for the break retest, right? Watch out for it. Let's see if we get that break and retest, or if we're gonna form a head. If that was a fake out, to form a head just to go back up. So now we gotta wait. Or if you're in already, I don't know what you're betting on, but is this gonna be the break and retest? We're gonna see. Okay. Target to pink. All right. I got in on the pullback, so somewhere in this wick I got filled. So my trade's protected. I can't lose from here. I'm hoping to hit the target on pink. Easy money. Easy money. Look at the money we just printed. Look at the money we just printed. Right to the target. Is gonna give us a little more. Come on. All right, I'll stop out half my contracts here. And then I'm not going to let it go against me, so I'll stop out for the rest on the dotted line. Excuse me, I'll stop out above this red candle for the rest. So hopefully it rejects here. I can get even more. If not, I took whatever the profit was on here. I'm going to hope for this to reject right now. Gangster should be holding for a green. But I got to get out of here soon, so I need to, I'm not going to be able to babysit this trade. So this move here for me, 93 to 31, half a point move. That's good money right there. I got my rest of my contracts right above this. That way I can cover my fees if it goes against me. I'm at least going to cover my fees. The only reason I'm putting it this tight is because I want to. I'm not going to be able to sit here and babysit on green. Okay, good trade. Good trade. Didn't lose anything. Everything's intact. Got a little scalp right here. Half a point scalp. I went in late. I went in on the break. I waited for this wick. So I got filled somewhere in this wick enough to make sure that I secured profit on the target, to the target. So we know there's going to be liquidity built up in here. Now the next level is going to be wait for the break retest of pink. Right? Very simple. Very simple. If not, you see where, watch. You see what needs to happen, right? You need to do this to take out this liquidity if this is forming a head. But you're going to reach resistance at the 20. So if you want to do a bigger break, retest, and reject of the 20, this might be it. So just wait for your confirmations. No reason to rush into anything. I'm going to clean up this chart just a little bit. Did you take that one, Ron? Did you? All right, good job. Hell yeah. You made something on it. You see those little, look, 30-cent moves? That's how we build the account, man. It's not always going to be 5 points in a day. Yeah. This is more of a, I'm giving you the longer term stuff. I'm telling you, right? It's going to be below pink or above this white. That's the longer term stuff. If we're inside of this range, you know what you're dealing with. You got to get in and get out because your liquidity bands are really close together. Your profit targets are really close. Yes, correct. Your size is the amount you go in is very important here because you don't want to over leverage and you can get stopped out really quick because if you're in this liquidity band here, let's say you're down here. If you're down here, but your next liquidity band's right here, then you know that you're expecting to meet some drama right here. We're at the 20 right now, so this is going to be the break, retest, and reject, or it's going to break to the upside. The important thing we did this morning was identify our range, right? This white and this pink. We identified this very early this morning. So we knew kind of what we're dealing with. We knew where our profit targets were. We knew where the risk was. We know what we're looking to expect. All right, I got another few minutes here with you all. Then I got to go to my doctor's appointment. I'm gonna clean up this chart just a bit. Yeah, I'm looking into the 5-minute right now. As we speak, Ron, I'm on it. I'm on it. Oh, wow. Look at this. Jeez. Look at this candle. Look at that fake out. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my. Look at the. Okay. Wow. Oh, man. Okay, don't say I didn't. Look at this perfect call. Nothing more I can do. There's nothing more I can do. Look at this. Look at this. Come on now. So if we were to break below the blue here, this would have been our put entry, right? This is how we know where our setups are. Breaking below blue would have been our put entry. But on the 5-minute it would have been this orange, so whatever. Oh no, that would have made sense. Yeah, that would make sense. If we broke below the orange, yeah, make perfect sense. Yep, everything worked out exactly the way it should. I'm telling you, the market is going to do whatever the market's going to do. We are just along for the ride. Look at this orange identified. Perfect orange identified. Look at this orange. Which I think I might want to use this orange instead of green. I'll leave the green for right now. I'm probably just going to clean up a little bit. So, man, I want to say we build in green and then break orange for our calls. And blue, obviously, for our puts. We want to look to see if we're going to form a... Watch out for this wedge, okay? You see it? Watch out for this wedge. I have to get out of here shortly. Another few minutes I'll be here, but this looks interesting. I like this. If I'm not here and we get below the 20, look for the 20 to reject before it goes out of yellow, okay? All right, good job. You're being risky, man. What the hell? Ron's getting risky. Don't over. It's okay as long as you're not over leveraged, right? If you manage your look. So look, this wedge looks like it's a thing. So pay attention to this wedge, and it's wedging in between the 20. So if we get over here and the 20, right? If the 20 if this wedge holds up. Let's see if we reject off this purple. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, let's go, let's go. Damn, I can't leave now. Now I can't leave. I got in somewhere in this bottom half of this wick, so if I stop out, I'm not worried because I'm 100%. I mean, I'm in profit right now, so I don't really care. If it touches, I can always get back in. If it rejects, back up here. But I'm protected. I'll go to break even. I'll go to, no, you know what? I'll just, yeah, I'll leave it at break even. Whatever happens, I'm going to leave it at break even. I'm just going to let it play out. I got in on the flexion that you're seeing right now, so the dotted line is my break even, so I'm just going to hold for this. Hopefully it doesn't retest my break even to stop me out for no reason. I want to see it break this orange, and hopefully we can get something to 637.48. That's what I'm hoping for. Today is a scalp day, boy. Today is very scalpy. I'm probably going to start trailing along this blue because I see we're at the orange and I see the orange was rejected. So I'm probably going to trail along the blue just to collect a little more profit, and I'm hoping that it breaks orange and, you know, gives me a good movement to at least 37.48. That's what I'm hoping for. We're gonna see. I'm a little tight with my stops because I'm along blue. I should be underneath this wick here, but I'm along blue because I'm hoping that this gives me some more movement to 637.48. So we all right, good money here, good money here, good money here, good money. There we go. There we go. Look at that money. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So if you didn't take the flexion, if you didn't take orange, there's nothing I can do, right? If you didn't make profit to here, there's nothing I can do. If you're holding for the retest and reject, you need to figure out your trading strategy. I got in on the flexion. Somewhere inside here, my trade's protected. I'm gonna guide along orange now to protect the trade. Hopefully we can get above 637 and it just shoots straight to 38.37 right here. But trade protected, I can't lose from here. Stress-free trading. When you have your rules, you've established your rules. You know what our entry was, right? So worst case scenario, you make a little bit of money, right? That's your worst case scenario if you follow this exactly. You get in on the break of orange. Worst case scenario, you make something. This was enough risk to reward also to key level. But, you know, I got in early, so I was okay with this. And you better believe, had it started to reject underneath this blue, especially on this, I probably would have went on the rejection if we got underneath blue, and then I would have held for yellow. But luckily, or it didn't even matter, lucky that didn't happen, so I don't have to worry about that. My setup was here, not down here. The price never got down here, so there's no reason for me to think about puts because we never got underneath the 20. So I wasn't thinking about puts because look, here's the 20, break, retest, and reject. None of that happened. What did happen was this. So I knew I had one opportunity, two opportunities to get in on the play. This is just how it works. The put scenario never presented itself. This was the only option, right? So it's damn near impossible to lose 2 trades in a row. Let's say you were to choose the break, retest, and reject from the 20. Let's say you're betting on that with the stop set appropriately. It wouldn't have hurt you, right? It wouldn't have hurt you if you set your stops appropriately. You could have made it back when the setup presented itself here. You wait for the next setup. I'm probably going to take some, now I hit profit target, so I might take a little bit off the table right here. I went light, 10 contracts. I might take off 5 here. I'll let it play. I hit my profit target. So, all right, I'll take 5 off and I'll see what I get from here. I'll still leave the rest of the contracts on, what is this? Orange. And look, if it stops me out, oh well, it stops me out. But if not, then I get all the benefit of hopefully going to pink. So if I stop myself out now, I have no hope of going to pink. But if I'm in profit here still along orange. So if I keep my stops along orange, I at least leave the opportunity open. I took my 5 contracts here. All right, cool. I'm going to wait. Oh my God, I have to leave. I'm just going to wait for orange to hit. If orange stops me out, then I get stopped out. I didn't hesitate. That's why I'm able to have a little security. But I drew the exact level. There's nothing more. Look at the flexion. So when the price gets down to this, there's nothing more I can do. I'm giving everyone the answers to the test. Okay, instead of being on the bottom of orange, I might move it on the top of orange now, because right now I'm trailing on the bottom of orange. So slight difference, but just style points for me. It doesn't really mean much. Hell yeah. See? Look, Ron, I told you we're going to... We have these rules. It's very simple rules, right? The rules are very simple. It's really hard to lose. It's actually hard to lose if you follow this strategy. All I'm doing is identifying risk. Once you identify the risk, you know, you just get a better idea. You know what I'm talking about. We're identifying the risk. We know where our profits are. We know we got to get in and out, or we'll know if we can let it run, right? If we get above this pink, we know we can probably got a little bit of room to the 5. You know, you can let it run a little bit, right? But while we're still in this tight range of 637.48 and apparently this yellow, we're in this range here. So, you know, you got to take your money when you can. Don't leave money on the table. I'm still holding these contracts. Now, I might start moving it a little bit because I see it's fading down, right? So I might take a little bit off the table just to secure some extra, a little bit extra, but not too much. I'm still going to give it room. I'm still along this this orange. Okay, I'm probably going to cut the YouTube stream because I have to get out of here. I'm late. If you're interested in learning how to trade like this, send me an email to LiveSPYTrading@gmail.com. Look at the money. All right, come on, let's go. Let's go. Send me an email, LiveSPYTrading@gmail.com, and I will get you sorted out. We are here at morning opening bell every morning. We would love you to join. Have a good day, YouTube. Bye.